Meeting ground rule number 18. No sideshows, whispers, or private conversations. One meeting only. A meeting is a shared space for collective focus. Fragmented attention weakens it for everyone. This rule addresses one of the most common and disruptive habits in meetings: side conversations. Whether it's a whispered exchange, a quiet comment to a neighbor, or a private chat during a virtual meeting, these distractions fracture the collective attention of the group. A meeting only works when everyone is tuned into the same discussion at the same time. When side conversations occur, they send several unspoken messages, none of them positive. First, they imply that the main discussion isn't worthy of full attention. Second, they distract those nearby. And third, they exclude others from the conversation, often leading to confusion or suspicion. Even a quiet whisper breaks the sense of shared presence that effective meetings require. In larger or high-pressure meetings, sideshows often emerge as a way to clarify or react quickly. But if something needs to be said, it should be said aloud for everyone to hear. Meetings thrive on transparency. If a point is important, it deserves to be shared. If it isn't, it can wait. Anything in between creates noise and pulls focus away from what matters. In virtual settings, the equivalent is private messages or separate back-channel chats during a call. These may seem harmless, but they divide attention and create invisible parallel conversations. When this happens, participants aren't fully engaged with the main dialogue, and key decisions or questions may go unchallenged or misunderstood. Enforcing this rule means holding space for inclusion and shared clarity. The chairperson should address side conversations politely but directly. A simple "let's keep this to one conversation at a time," or "could we bring that point into the main discussion?" resets the group without shame or defensiveness. The goal is to restore focus, not scold. When this rule is ignored, meetings become fragmented. People leave with differing interpretations of what was discussed, and critical nuances get missed. Trust within the group can also take a hit, as private exchanges begin to look like hidden agendas or off-the-record alignment. Over time, this reduces cohesion and transparency. Staying present in one conversation ensures that everyone hears the same input, responds to the same cues, and makes decisions based on shared understanding. It builds rhythm, reinforces accountability, and creates the conditions for deeper listening and more balanced participation. Following this rule also shows respect. It says, "I'm here, I'm listening, I'm engaged with what we are doing, not just what I find interesting." That mindset changes the tone of the room by encouraging others to bring their best thinking forward with full attention. Ultimately, this rule protects the integrity of the meeting. One meeting at a time means one focus, one conversation, and one united effort toward clarity and progress. That's where trust is built and where real work gets done. Meeting ground rule number 19. Be open and contribute positively to every point being made. Progress happens when minds are open and energy is constructive. This rule encourages a mindset of active engagement and collaborative spirit. Being open means setting aside defensiveness, judgment, or preformed conclusions so that each point raised in the meeting can be heard on its own merit. Contributing positively means responding with curiosity, encouragement, and a solution-oriented attitude, even when you may disagree. Openness starts with listening without immediately preparing a rebuttal. It means taking the time to understand the full point someone is making before responding. When people feel truly heard, they are more likely to offer insights, take risks in sharing ideas, and collaborate meaningfully. This sets a foundation of psychological safety in the room. Positive contribution doesn't mean blind agreement. It means expressing your views in a way that adds value to the discussion. Instead of shutting down someone's idea with a "no, that won't work," a constructive response might be, "What if we tried combining that with this approach?" The tone and framing can elevate the conversation instead of blocking it. This rule is also about presence. Being open and contributing isn't just about what you say. It's about your body language, your facial expressions, your attentiveness. Nods, affirming gestures, or thoughtful questions signal to the speaker that their point is being taken seriously. This creates momentum and encourages fuller participation across the group. Even when the point being made doesn't apply directly to your area, engaging with it shows collective ownership of the meeting's purpose. A team that builds on each other's ideas rather than staying siloed generates better outcomes and more integrated solutions. Every comment is a thread that can lead to improvement or innovation if handled well. In virtual settings, this rule becomes even more important. When cameras are off and microphones are muted, silence can feel like indifference. A well-timed comment, an emoji reaction, or a message in the chat can go a long way in keeping the energy positive and showing that you're actively engaged. When this rule is ignored, meetings can become polarized or stagnant. Some people dominate while others stay quiet. Good ideas may be dismissed prematurely or never voiced at all. The room becomes cautious, and the group loses the diversity of thought that makes collaboration powerful. By being open and contributing positively, you help shape a meeting culture that is inclusive, empowering, and forward-moving. It shows your commitment not just to your point of view, but to the shared success of the team. And that's what transforms meetings from obligation to opportunity. At its core, this rule is about mindset. Bring openness instead of resistance, curiosity instead of critique, and solutions instead of silences. That energy is contagious, and when everyone in the room brings it, progress becomes inevitable. Meeting ground rule number 20, ensure minutes are taken for every point discussed in the meeting, and the responsible scribe captures all key inputs. Where possible, read back the minutes before closing the meeting and confirm agreed action points. Meetings that aren't recorded become memories, and memories are fragile. This rule is about turning discussion into documented decisions. In the absence of accurate written minutes, even the most productive meeting risks losing its impact. Points raised get forgotten, action items become unclear, and accountability fades. Minutes act as the bridge between what was said and what gets done. They are the formal memory of the meeting. Assigning a scribe in advance is essential. This person must be focused, impartial, and attentive to detail. Their job isn't to capture every word, but to accurately reflect the essence of each discussion point, the decisions made and the follow-up responsibilities assigned. Without a designated note-taker, valuable information slips through the cracks. Effective minutes include more than just notes. They capture who said what, when relevant, summarize the consensus or disagreement around key issues, and clearly list action items, responsible persons, and timelines. This transforms the meeting from a conversation into a record of shared understanding and next steps. Reading back the minutes at the end of the meeting is a powerful habit. It allows attendees to confirm accuracy, clarify misunderstandings, and ensure that their views or responsibilities were recorded correctly. This real-time validation closes the feedback loop and strengthens commitment to follow through. This rule also reduces future friction. When decisions are later questioned or revisited, the minutes serve as a reference point. They help resolve disputes, avoid repeated discussions, and provide continuity for those who could not attend. In long-running projects or cross-functional teams, this documentation is invaluable. It also reinforces accountability. When people see their names attached to tasks or decisions in the minutes, it encourages ownership. Vague promises made in conversation are often forgotten, but documented action items prompt follow-up, progress, and performance tracking. In hybrid or virtual settings, this rule becomes even more important. With attendees joining from different locations and time zones, attention may fluctuate. Minutes provide consistency, ensuring that every participant, regardless of location, leaves the meeting with the same understanding of what was discussed and what comes next. When this rule is ignored, meetings lose their momentum. People forget who agreed to what. Tasks fall through the cracks. Disagreements resurface because the previous resolution wasn't captured. Eventually, teams begin to question the value of meetings altogether, because no tangible outcome ever seems to emerge. Ultimately, this rule ensures that meetings create a clear trail of decisions and commitments. Minutes are not a formality, they are a discipline. A meeting that ends with reviewed and agreed upon minutes sends a strong signal. This was not just talk, this was action, with ownership, and it's now moving forward. Meeting ground rule number 21, publish the minutes of the meeting promptly, no later than close of business the same day, and circulate them to all attendees, affected disciplines, and project management lies. The value of a meeting is only realized when its outcomes are communicated and acted upon. This rule emphasizes one of the most critical, yet often neglected, aspects of meeting discipline: the timely distribution of minutes. A well-run meeting without a timely record quickly loses its effectiveness. Action items are forgotten, responsibilities become unclear, and momentum is lost. By circulating the minutes on the same day, the meeting's impact is preserved while attention and context are still fresh. Timeliness reinforces urgency and accountability. When minutes are delayed, even by a day or two, participants may shift focus to other priorities. Details fade, follow-ups stall, and the clarity of decisions begins to blur. Same-day distribution ensures that tasks assigned in the morning can be started by the next morning. This rule also serves as a signal of professionalism. Promptly published minutes reflect a disciplined project culture, one where decisions are taken seriously and communication is crisp. It builds trust across teams and departments, showing that meetings are not just conversations but drivers of coordinated action. Circulation should go beyond attendees. All relevant disciplines, whether or not they were present, need to be kept informed if they are impacted by any point raised or action assigned. Project management must also receive every set of minutes, as they need a complete picture of ongoing decisions, risks, dependencies, and timelines. The format of the minutes should be clear and actionable. Each entry should include a summary of the point discussed, any decisions made, the person responsible, and the deadline or next step. A well-structured document not only informs, but drives execution. It becomes a management tool, not just a meeting artifact. Publishing by close of business also allows for overnight follow-up, flagging of discrepancies, and corrections while the meeting is still fresh in everyone's minds. This avoids disputes later or the need to clarify things in the next meeting, saving valuable time and keeping the project moving forward. In digital or hybrid environments, prompt circulation ensures remote participants are equally informed and aligned. Uploading to a shared platform or sending via email with the subject clearly labeled, e.g., MOEM Design Review Meeting 27th July, makes retrieval and reference simple and professional. When this rule is ignored, meetings lose continuity. Attendees may remember things differently, others stay uninformed, and critical items risk being overlooked. Repeated questions like, "What did we decide again?" or "Who was supposed to handle that?" begin to undermine the entire meeting culture. Ultimately, this rule ensures that meetings are not isolated events, but part of a living, breathing execution process. Timely, thorough, and well-circulated minutes are how meetings turn into results. They are the thread that weaves conversations into actions, actions into progress, and progress into successful project delivery.